Can you be a construction manager with an associate's degree? In this video, I'm going to talk to you all about that and the truth behind the situation, and explain that some of the best managers that I've ever dealt with came from the trenches. A lot of them did not have degrees, and it's not the degree that matters during your career, but it may be something you need to get in. I have covered topics like this before, but it's been over a year and I've got some new content for you, so stay with me in this video. So let me go ahead and start out and say that I did not go to a four-year university. I do not have a bachelor's degree. I do not have an associate's degree. And I made it from a worker in the field to a lead person, to a foreman, then to being a rod man, a rod person, field engineer, then assistant superintendent, superintendent, project superintendent, general superintendent, field director. And one of the funnest things that I did was being able to be a project director, supervising project managers and supervising the whole project. It was quite phenomenal. And I've had a great career, and then started a business and am now doing consulting and influencing throughout the industry. So I am proof that you don't need it. I will say though, just to start out, that I get comments from people, probably 5 to 10 a day, saying, Jason, J Money, I want to get into this business, but I can't get an in. And here's what I tell them: apply to 40 different locations. Try to nail that interview. Follow up. And one of the big things that I'm seeing is that their resume is super, like almost compulsively honest, showing the exact title. And let me give you an example. Let's say somebody comes from the military and there's a very military specific title, but they were doing leadership, they were overseeing crews, they were up in the higher ranks of planning the strategy and tactics of certain missions, and they stick with some obscure, and I'm not making fun of them, but they stick with some obscure title that doesn't translate to construction. And I'm like, that's the equivalent of being a project engineer or an assistant superintendent or even being a superintendent. Make sure that your resumes are, meaning that they're indicative of the experience that you actually have. I'm not saying lie, I'm not saying exaggerate, I'm saying translate. Oh my gosh, I've never said that before. I'm super excited. Like, translate what that exact experience is. And I'm saying, do not wait to submit those applications until you're done with your education. Do not stall. Do not say that you're only going to do it after you graduate. Do not be afraid of doing internships. Do not be afraid of lower level positions. Get in, get in, get in. Once you're in, it's only a matter of time until you're accepted and promoted. And so that's the first thing that I want to say. And if you can get in, just so you know, as a foreman, from trade schools, word of mouth, applications, passing the interview when you have talked to a LinkedIn recruiter, working in a family business, working in an admin position, working in another department, and on, whatever you got to do, get in, sneak in there. This is kind of a funny analogy, but it's kind of like, you kind of got to look at construction like you're robbing a bank. Like, pretend you're a Mission Impossible movie and you're trying to break into this place. Once you break in, you can kind of have the run of the place, but you got to get in. Do it however you can. And I would say probably the best ratio is to multiply by 4 your current efforts, and that's going to get you close to where you want to be. Times 4 the amount of applications, times 4 the amount of research you're doing for the interview, times 4 how personable you are, times 4 the translation and the specific wording on your resume. Sometimes people are like, here's my resume, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I go onto Canva and I type in beautiful resume, and there's this, beautifully formatted, like bubble formatted, like description on the left with like this black background. It's, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And I send it back to them and they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. In fact, in the description below, I'm just going to go ahead and put one down there for you because I really want you to be successful. So if you can get in, you can go as far as you want to go. The bottom line is, I've interviewed a lot of people, simply asked them questions if it wasn't an official interview, and I haven't ever heard a construction manager say, I rely on my degree. Now, does that mean I'm making fun of the degree? No, I honor and respect those who have the degree. I think it's great, but it's not crucial to perform in the role. The other thing is, some of the best supervisors I've seen come from the field. In fact, oh my gosh, this is such a good video. I hope that you're gonna like this video for me. please, because we're together. Anyway, it is better to have field experience in construction management than it is to have a degree with no field experience. I think I'm going to have to chat GPT that to make it sound better. Bottom line is, you've got to have some boots on the ground, craft worker, foreman, lead person, or field engineer working with the craft. If you want to be great, that's what matters more. The one thing that I do want to say, you might need a degree to get in, but having only an associate's and not the full bachelor's, or not having a degree at all, shouldn't lock you out. You might need it to get in. Now, let me tell you a story. I did not go to school, but there was a point in my career where I thought I might want to switch and become a doctor. Now, I'm not saying I'm smart enough to be a doctor, but that was the thought process going through my brain. And I started going to school. We had 6 kids at the time. No, 6 kids. You're like, you need more school. 6 kids at the time. Kate was staying at home. I was working as an assistant superintendent and getting straight A's. It was super hard. Had to do homework assignments while Kate was putting the kids down. Did it for about a year. Got straight A's. I'm so proud of that. And I realized, no, I really want to do construction. So I did stop, but I really appreciated at least that 1 year of school that got my writing skills, my presentation skills, my approach to basically emails and writing letters, and some of those basics under my belt, right? And it really, really helped me. Did I need the whole 4 years? No. So when we're talking about an associate's degree, I do like the concept of 2 years. But again, don't be ashamed that you don't have the full bachelor's degree. Let me go ahead and fire through some really cool concepts. If you're in a smaller company or organization, they tend to value experience and coming up through the field a bit more. Larger organizations, these big companies, they might really want the degree. So understand that dynamic. Do remember, please, that construction is an earned as you learn profession. Meaning, like, if you're thinking like, I'm a doctor, I'm going to learn this stuff, then I'm going to go do my residency, and then I know everything, then I'm ready to go. That's not construction. You are trained as a field engineer. You are trained as a project engineer. These are earn as you learn type positions. So the degree really is only a get in the door type thing. Now, it is a benefit if you need that maturity, if you need that discipline, if you need to learn how to study. I, for one, was really immature, really just not refined, and I hit my shin on the kitchen table or the or the living room table, so to speak, a lot when I was coming up in construction. So there are some benefits there, but an associate's degree should get that for you, so you should be fine. I will point out that the recruiters that are looking for people, they are looking for that experience. They are looking for a construction management degree, but if you can prove that you are a cultural fit and that you have relevant experience and really connect with that recruiter in a deep way and get to a conversation, I think you can get past that. But again, make sure that that resume really depicts what you've done, and then a corollary to that, which is even before that, get as much experience as you can as soon as you can. Summer jobs, internships, working in the field, construction, and then translate that experience. And remember, it's not just about what's on the resume, it's about the experience that you bring with it, and it's about you coming from the right background and being a fit. So make sure you communicate that in your efforts with your resume. And then here's some topics that I haven't covered in a while. Just remember that resumes don't build projects, people do. And so if you can get that connection, human on human contact, that's why I say quadruple the amount of applications, then you can get in and win when you're in. The other thing is, I talked about this probably 18 months ago, I gotta say it again, refresh it. Do not try and fast track this. Get the experience. Take your time as a field engineer. Take your time as a project engineer. Go get that experience. That's why I love the internship concept as well. The other thing is, I like, if you do have an associate's degree and you're like, okay, finish that, now I go get that field experience sooner and stay there and don't rush. What I see people do, they get their bachelor's degree and they're like, I'm behind, I gotta go. They skip FE, skip PE, they rush, and then they get stalled at the end of their career. Do not fast track. Get out there and get the experience and put those tools in your tool belt as you go. You will be benefited by it. And lastly, just remember some of these things. You don't need a 4-year degree to be successful. You may need a degree to get in. Bachelor's degree is nice, but an associate's degree is more than enough. The most success comes from having actual field experience, and take your time. I think that this answers your question about whether or not you can be a construction manager with an associate's, and I think remarkably so, yes. But get in, and if you want to contact me, go ahead. But please, when you contact me, tell me, I've done 40 applications, I've practiced my speech, I've updated my resume to translate my experience, I've volunteered for internships, I've volunteered for actual labor, and then I can actually help you, because if you haven't done that, then you're not working hard enough to get in. So I'll turn this into a blog post for you, but contact me. I respond to all the comments myself, and I appreciate you, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.